All right, it is 5:45 on Monday, October 5th, and we're going to call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Present are council members Harris, Bubb, Blake, Marmee, and Barker is sitting in for Lang. So first item on the agenda is a resolution appropriating monies in the amount of $2,500. I'm sorry, wait a minute. You went to resolution first, never mind. It's a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark to prepare and submit to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development a one-year use of funds action plan along with an application for fiscal year 2021 federal community development block grant funds as required by 24 CFR Part 91.220 for various programs related to housing and community development.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an annual resolution that we have to do in order to qualify for the community development block grant funds that we receive on a yearly basis.
I'll offer a motion.
Second. I have a motion by Bubb, second by Harris. Any questions and or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Yes, no.
I was waiting for you to say thumbs up.
We have Mr. Lang in here now, so he will be joining us. And Mr. Barker will step back. So next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation amount of $2,500.
$2 million.
Or $2 million, sorry. $2.5 million.
There you go. Got to add a couple zeros there. This is for a note, and this is related to the next item as well, which is $500,000. It's a $3 million note for the 40th Street Tamarack Drive, Tamarack Road water main project. And this is just a renewal of the note. We already have the money. We have the money appropriated. The note has come due. We're renewing it, and once the project's done, we'll turn that into a bond. That's what this is for, is just to pay off the note and get the money back in again after 1 year. So.
Questions or discussion?
The $2.5 million is for stormwater, and the $500,000 is for water. So.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
So motion. Second.
Motion by Harris, second by Bubb. Any further questions and or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Now we have the $500,000, which is the additional funds to do the $3 million that he mentioned. Motion by Bubb.
Second.
Second by Lang. Any questions and or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $50,000. Anybody speaking on this one?
You know, Doug,
This is for...
I'll let you know what I do know about it. The judges sent down a request for $50,000 out of the unappropriated balance. They're saying they need that for cover the remainder of the year in terms of salaries, PRS, and health insurance. I can't speak to the particulars of it because I wasn't involved in it, nor was the mayor. They just sent it down to us.
So we don't know the reasoning? Or
I'm assuming some people picked up on health insurance that weren't originally on it through the year. That's what I'm assuming. Again, nobody's given any conversation to myself or the mayor about this, and they're not here tonight to speak about it.
Well, there's salary dollars too, and that
Right.
should have been budgeted, so they should.
I think they had some overtime when they had the judge turnover. I think they incurred some overtime.
Would that go in salaries though, or overtime?
Can't answer that. You know, if you pass it forward, I can reach out to Judge Stansberry and ask him to contact you to go over this with you. I'm going to keep it moving.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yeah, I would just as soon table until we know what it's, I mean, I guess we don't need to table it, do we? We haven't made a motion yet.
Yeah, we can just put it on the next agenda.
Fair enough, I'll ask him to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to do
Someone
it.
needs to at least speak on it, or there's no description other than remaining needed to fund 2020. So if it was just PERS and health insurance and somebody picked up health insurance, that's one thing. But don't know what the salaries portion goes to.
I'll reach out to the judge, make sure they're to us.
Very good. Thank you. All right, and then with that, this Finance Committee meeting stands adjourned. Services next.
Okay, we'll call a Service Committee meeting to order. Those present are myself, Jeff Rath, Jeff Harris, Spencer. Oh, I gotta move over there? I thought we were.
No,
You're
these
fine.
hanging.
Picked up. Oh, okay.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Is it coming through the microphone?
You don't want to sit in your own seat.
Yeah, that's what I thought, we were just hosting, or cheering from our seat. All right, so again, those present are myself, Jeff Rath, Jeff Harris, Spencer Barker, Jeremy Blake, Ryan Bump. First item on the agenda, consider resolution number 20-75, a resolution authorizing the Director of Public Service to make application to and enter into agreements with the Muskingum Watershed Conservancy District for financial assistance for the Log Pond Run Diversion Channel water quality and restoration improvements, authorizing the execution of all documents necessary to effectuate the same and declaring an emergency. Mr. Moorhead.
Yes, thanks. I'll speak on this. Muskingum Watershed Conservancy District annually has a funding round where they make grant applications available to some of the members in the district, and we are one of those. So we would like to apply and receive funding for basically some repairs and water quality issues on Log Pond Run Diversion Channel, starting at right behind North Newark Little League at the driveway, going back to the student apartments there at OSU. There's some repairs that need to be made there. Following down to the south, some additional repairs that need to be made just north of the Whipple Truss Bridge. Then following on down to the south, there's a large area south of Granville Road that we worked on several years ago that really took a lot of erosion during the March flooding events. So a lot of that needs to be reconstructed, and so those are the areas we're applying for funding for. The total amount of the grant we're asking for is $497,000, and we will have a match required, which will come out of our stormwater utility funds. Any other questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Any questions from the committee?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Blake.
Mr. Moorhead, I was curious, for all the, was it 3 locations that you just identified?
There's actually 4 that are in the application, but the 2 near the Whipple Truss Bridge are real smaller ones.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that bridge name, but is that the bridge that's near 21st Street?
No, it's the bridge on campus.
Okay.
The old steel black bridge on campus.
Gotcha.
Right near
that
that
I know
area.
there was a log jam, because I talked to Denise Brooks at Soil and Water, and she had a list of different log jams along the river too. And so I was just curious if that was, I know that you guys are working in partnership together.
Yeah, those are a different issue. Those aren't included in this. The log jams will be taken out with other work.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll offer a motion.
Motion by Bub. Seconded by Barker. All right, that down as soon as I find a pen that still works. All right, any additional questions from committee members? Any additional members from the audience? Seeing no questions, all those in favor of passing this on to council will signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion will go on to council with a vote of 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Moorhead. Yep, they probably are. Thank you. Next, consider resolution number 20-76, a resolution authorizing replacement of the West Church Street Bridge over Raccoon Creek within the city of Newark. This work will be performed as part of PID 109321 LIC-CR 804-01.73. Mr. Moorhead, you're speaking on this as well.
Yes, this is a piece of legislation, preliminary legislation that comes from ODOT, pretty much standard legislation to say that the city is in cooperation with the project. Really, it's behind. This should have been submitted earlier in the springtime because we're actually already working on the engineering work on that project, but ODOT found that they did not submit it to us, so they're asking for us to approve it with the emergency clause to be able to catch up their files and keep the project moving. So this is the bridge on West Church Street, just west of the YMCA over Raccoon Creek, and we're working on a replacement for it in the next couple of years here. So.
Brian, I apologize. I'm trying to find my paperwork up here, but it appears that this does not have the emergency clause on it. So is that necessary?
I think it had it at the very end of the resolution. It's under section 6. The resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure.
20-76, right?
Yeah, it is there under 6. Right above the date of passage.
Yeah.
Field.
Declared to be an emergency measure. Okay, so that's already in the legislation. It's just not on my sheet. So that is does have an emergency clause. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll offer a motion.
Motion by Bub,
Second.
seconded by Barker. Any questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion will carry forward 5-0. Up next will be 20-77, resolution authorizing the Director of Public Service to prepare and submit applications to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvements Program and to execute contracts as required.
Yes, this is a annual thing that the Ohio Public Works Commission has a grant and loan program through the State Capital Improvement Program every year, and would like to apply again this year. And the project that we wish to move forward is the East Church Street and downtown alley improvements, which will be repairing and replacing sidewalk on East Church Street from 2nd Street to 3rd Street, and the adjacent alley approaches there, and a new crossing across West Church Street as well. We've got the design work done and a cost estimate of about $520,000, and would like to apply for grant funding for that. Any other questions? I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Any questions from the committee?
Offer motion.
Second.
Motion by Barker, seconded by Bub. Is that right?
Sure.
Okay. You guys are getting mousy. It's hard to hear through these plastic things. Any questions from the committee?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Blake?
Mr. Moorhead, in the resolution, the point 2 says resurfacing of various streets throughout the city. What does that entail?
Well, sometimes we're able to put two grant applications together, and I just carried that over from the previous piece. I don't think that, I think that the item number 1 will basically use up the money that we would be entitled to, so I don't think there would be a resurface. We won't be applying for resurfacing with this application.
Any other questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion will pass 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Up next, we'll have ordinance number 20-34, ordinance authorizing and directing the Newark City Safety Director to certify to the Licking County Auditor the sum of $293,330 incurred by the Newark City Property Maintenance Department with respect to property maintenance violations to be placed as a lien upon certain parcels of real property situated in the city of Newark, Ohio. Mr. Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We bring this to you once a year to have these put on people's property taxes, and this is the amount this year.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Bub,
Second.
seconded by Barker. Any questions from the committee? Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing this on to council signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That will pass with a vote of 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. I see no other items for the Service Committee. Up next, I believe, will be Personnel.
Okay, it is 6:05. We will call this Personnel Committee meeting to order. Those present are myself, Dee Hall, Mark Labutus, Jonathan Lang, and Sean Fennell. The first item on tonight's agenda is ordinance 20-31. It's an ordinance amending the position classification, pay range, and department authorization tables, City of Newark Department of Public Safety, Division of Police, by creating the classifications of Secretary 2 and Detective Bureau Clerk Analyst, and setting the compensation therefore. With that being said, Human Resources Director Bill Spurgeon is at the podium. You may proceed.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Chief Baum has had an opportunity to review his workforce and his mission. He believes the appointing authority agrees, and I concur, that these two positions are appropriate. Position number 1 would be a Secretary 2, which would service the Chief of Police, and the second position is a Detective Bureau Clerk. So in the Detective Bureau, we had a clerk who had retired. They wish to add some additional duties to that position, secure databases such as OLEG and LEADS. They want a background check. So I've engaged our business partners in the bargaining unit. We believe taking that position from a 28 to a 31 is fair to capture those additional duties and responsibilities, and urge your support.
Okay. Is there any questions or comments from this committee regarding this ordinance?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Lang?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Director. If you could just articulate or help me understand the net impact to the budget, how we're going to sort that out.
Sure. Through the chair to the council person, I believe the administration has some plans for an existing position of Secretary 2, so I believe that will be revenue neutral. I believe you're looking at about 90 cents on the hour for the Detective Bureau Clerk Analyst, from a 28 to a 31 pay range. So rough math, a couple $1,000, 25% roll-ups, I'm going to say about $3,000 annual impact. Chief Baum has assured us that he has those funds. I purposely not brought forth positions to be abolished for 2 reasons. Number 1 is my understanding that there are positions have been created historically that never made it into the new accounting system. And I believe it's appropriate, as our appointing authority has agreed, to come back during a budget discussion. So I'm merely asking you to create the positions. You'll have a second opportunity to review the mayor's budget and approve or disapprove the funding of the same.
Thank you. I'll offer a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Motion on the floor by Councilman Lang, second by Councilman Labutus. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those who are in favor of moving this on to full council can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, next item on the agenda is ordinance 20-32. It's an ordinance amending the position classification, pay range, and department authorization tables of the City of Newark Department of Public Safety, Division of Fire, EMS, by creating the classification of administrative specialist and setting the compensation therefore. Mr. Spurgeon, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Department of Public Safety, Division of Fire, as you've mentioned. Chief Connor has had a historical challenge. He's had 2 positions he needs the work done. But he does not feel, nor I believe, or appointing authority believes he needs 2 spots to do that. So we worked hard, we engaged our business partners in the bargaining unit, combined both those positions. So the idea is he has an account clerk 1, who he believes, we agree, can function also, I don't want to say as a secretary, but can do the jobs of both. So I believe Chief Connor will come back through the administration, very likely talk about abolishing the secretary's position. But the idea all along, let's combine them, let's get with the bargaining unit and decide what's fair. And so when you look at the impact of this, we are going from a 21 to a 35, but based on the work, the skill set, and the services offered, the bargaining unit believes, and I agree, that that is fair. And again, urge your support.
Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding this ordinance?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Lang?
Yeah, same question, if you could.
Yeah. Through the chair to the council person, this is about twice what it was in the police department. It's about $2.15 an hour. 2,000 hours a year, we're going to come out just north of $4K, another 25% on your benefits, and the roll-up's about $5,000. I believe it would be an annual impact. Again, I've had some conversations with appointing authority, Chief Connor. Feels very comfortable that he has the funds to do that.
Thank you. I'll offer a motion.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilman Lang.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Labutus. Further questions or comments regarding ordinance 20-32? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of moving this on to full council can signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion will pass 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. We will move on to ordinance 20-33. This is an ordinance amending the position classification, pay range, and department authorization tables of the City of Newark Department of Public Safety, Division of Property Maintenance, by creating the classification of property maintenance inspector, setting the compensation therefore. Mr. Spurgeon, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The piece before you seeks support for a position in the Property Maintenance Inspection Division. They currently, in their strength authorization table, which is there for your convenience, have a Property Maintenance Inspector Analyst. Some of you on council, when I was the appointing authority, I asked your support. You were kind enough to create that. I had an asset that had very high level accounting skills. What I have learned since returning as your HR director is that position's not been filled. So again, engaged our business partner in the bargaining unit as well with the command staff. We wish to capture some of those analytical duties, but not all of them. So this will have some cost savings. The analyst is a 38 pay range. This is a 34. So again, we urge the committee's support.
Okay. Questions or comments regarding this matter? Anybody from the committee first? Okay. Mr. Harris, you can proceed.
Yeah, on this particular property maintenance ones, I wanted to see another property maintenance person for this position. Seemed like they had a number of issues and they couldn't keep up, and talk with administration and HR director. Seems like we're going to find the money to create this position, and I think it will help all of us and make our city better all around. So I hope we pass this on. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
I'll offer a motion.
Okay. Motion on the floor by Councilman Lang.
Second.
Second by Councilman Labutus. Further questions, comments from anyone regarding this matter? D. Hall, you can proceed.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it all together, this individual will have the same responsibilities as Joe Paul, and, I mean, with the ability to go in and inspect
So,
under certain...
yeah, through the chair to the council person, thank you for your question. This is a bargaining unit position where the supervisors is not. This will have full inspection capability across our great city, where some of those positions now, there's some grant funding dynamics where they can't. They're restricted. It was never the intention that I'm aware of to come back and try to abolish that analyst position. So the savings to the citizens is that position's never been funded. And that's a position that you supported when I created. But to be clear, bargaining unit position, this will be a 34 because there's just a little bit run reports, some metrics, that type of thing. The director and Joe felt was important. I agreed to keep in the position.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, there is a motion on the floor by Lang, a second by Labutus. All in favor of moving this on the full council can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, last item on the agenda this evening, excuse me 1 second, is ordinance 20-16C. It is currently tabled. It was tabled on September 21st, 2020. For the record, it's an ordinance setting compensation and stating policy with respect to certain positions within the office of the clerk of the Licking County Municipal Court in the city of Newark, Ohio, and repealing all ordinances and resolutions in conflict. So I will open this up to another discussion here this evening. Clerk of Courts from the Municipal Court, Marcia Phelps at the podium. You can proceed.
I believe that I forwarded to everyone, and I hope you all received it via email, the answers to the questions that were presented at the last meeting. You wanted to know who has left and where they went to. And then the other thing was a copy of the impact. We gave you a spreadsheet both on with longevity, which is a total impact, and then without longevity. I'm sure you all understand what the longevity means, right? Okay. I don't know if there's any questions to what I had
said. Do you have
said.
anything else before I open it up to questions or
No.
comments? Does anyone from this committee have any questions or comments regarding this matter?
Yeah.
Mr. Lankin can proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I just have one question. You had sent along the list of employees that had left. I just wanted to clarify. It looked like the list was mainly 2019 and 20. I was trying to figure out who had left in 17 and 18. I wasn't sure if that was included.
Wasn't any.
There were no departures in 17 and 18?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments regarding this?
Just from the committee?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and open up the floor. Anyone else? You have something to...
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I would like to go into executive session to, I can't make the official motion because I'm not on the committee,
Okay.
but I'd like to go into executive session to discuss a couple of items.
Okay.
I'll offer a motion for that.
We need to know what the basis for the executive session is before you can vote on it.
The basis of executive session is personnel matters.
I don't think that's a legitimate basis for executive committee.
Any HR issues and personnel matters, we've always
Not
gone into.
salary issues.
Pardon?
Not salary issues.
It's not a salary issue.
Disciplinary issues, yes.
Yeah, it's an HR issue that needs to be discussed in executive session.
Okay.
I'll offer that motion.
Okay. There's a motion to go into executive session by Councilman Lang. Is there a second regarding going into executive discussion, executive
Second.
session to discuss that? Is it you?
Second.
Okay. Okay, second by Hall. Okay. So the motion on the floor by Lang, second by Hall to go into executive session. All those in favor of going...
Mr. Chair,
Go
if I
ahead.
may, during discussion, am I included in this executive session since it's my proposal?
Yeah, so what we'll do, that's a good question. So what we'll do in this executive session, since it pertains to your department, that will be all the council members, the administration, along with the clerk of courts. And then everyone else will have to leave the council chambers. So there's a motion on the floor by Lang, a second by Hall to go into executive session. All those in favor of moving into executive session can signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion passes 5-0. We will go into executive session for discussion here in about 3 or 4 minutes. All right, it's 6:37. We are just finished with the executive session. We'll need a motion to adjourn the executive session.
Yeah, I'll offer a motion to adjourn.
Okay. Motion by Lang. Second by Labutus. Okay, so we will continue on with this Personnel Committee meeting. Again, for the record, it's 20-16C. It's an ordinance that is currently tabled.
Mr. Chair,
Oh,
you need a voice vote to come out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
So a motion by Lang, a second by Labutus to adjourn the executive session. All those in favor can signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes 5-0. We will continue on with the Personnel Committee meeting, 20-16C. It's an ordinance setting the compensation and stating policy with respect to certain positions within the office of the clerk of the Licking County Municipal Court, City of Newark, Ohio, and repealing all ordinances and resolutions in conflict. Again, this was tabled September 21st, 2020 in Personnel Committee meeting. Does anyone have any further questions or comments regarding this matter? Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just to clarify, procedurally, I think you tabled it to this meeting, and so do we need a motion to send it on to council, or at this point it's...
Motion's pending.
Motion's pending, gotcha. Okay.
Here's a motion and a second on the floor to adopt, I believe.
Yes. So, but we would need a motion to bring it off the table, though, correct?
No, you tabled it for 2 weeks, so it
Okay.
automatically came back today.
Okay. Okay. And, yeah, and I'm not, I can't recall, I guess, who made the motion and the second on that. I guess I could look it up here real quick for the record.
It was Mr. Fennell took it off the table, and then I think I made them, and I seconded it.
Okay.
I think I made the motion to amend, and that was seconded. And I think we made the motion to amend, and we passed that, and then I believe you made the motion to table after that.
And the motion to adopt would have been made well in advance
Yeah.
of the motion to amend, like I believe actually...
That would have been the
2 weeks ago,
original, yeah.
Before it was tabled the first time.
Right.
So that would have been 5 weeks ago, I think, was the motion to adopt.
So at this point, this is just a voice vote. There's nothing else that needs to be...
There is on the table a motion to adopt 20-16 as it's been amended and
Yeah.
renumbered 20-16C. That is on the table now for discussion and vote.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor regarding 20-16C. There's a motion and there was a second along with that. Is there any further questions or comments regarding this matter? Okay. We will take this to a vote then. All those...
Mr. Chair? Yeah, I'll offer a motion to table this. Again, I think we still need some more information on the folks that have left and what's going on there.
Okay, there is a motion on the table, or I'm sorry, there's a motion on the floor to table by Lang. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Labutus. Okay. Okay, all of those in favor of tabling ordinance 20-16C can signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. This motion will pass 4-1. And with that, 6:41, we will adjourn this meeting.